Let's now bring in Ross Feingold, who is an Asia political risk analyst, and he joins us live now from Taipei. It's good to see you, Ross. How crucial is this meeting between Xi Jinping and Joe Biden? Are they going to be able to find common ground moving forward?
If we keep the view that expectations for this meeting should be low, and specifically expectations of any important announcements, it's already been reported that there won't be any joint statement, then the meeting actually isn't very crucial. They've spoken on the phone or by video conference multiple times in the year and a half that President Biden has been in office. So this is basically a regular occurrence. Every few months, they have a conversation, whether it's by phone or video or in person. Each side states its position on the various issues that are on the agenda, the obvious ones being Taiwan or Hong Kong, human rights generally in China, Xinjiang, etc. More recently, of course, the Ukraine war is an issue that will take up a lot of conversation as well. The U.S. will say, don't send military support to Russia. China will say, we don't. The U.S. will say, if you do, we'll sanction you. So this is very much a routine. And again, if we keep expectations low, I think we should have the view that this actually isn't very crucial.
Right. And I think what stood out the most prior to this meeting was Biden saying that he would like to create what he calls guardrails to prevent the countries from veering into conflict. What would those guardrails be?
The interesting thing about that is the Biden administration seems to remain very optimistic about China. They'll say, we have these tensions, but as long as we have some guardrails, things will be okay. Again, if we talk about some specifics about what those might mean, with Ukraine, a guardrail from the U.S. perspective would be don't send or sell any weapons or ammunition, et cetera, to Russia when Russia is desperately trying to acquire these, including from overseas. That's been widely reported that Russia has, in fact, been doing that. With Taiwan, the United States might say ease off on future military exercises like the one that occurred in August after House Speaker Pelosi visited Taiwan. I would expect China to say, well, we would, of course, not agree to this request. So the U.S. could propose these various kinds of guardrails, whether it's regard to the global picture or specifically with regard to the bilateral relationship, and that might include trade. Right. One of the ones that always comes up is intellectual property protection. But again, I would expect China to simply restate its well-known positions and not to necessarily agree to anything the U.S. asks.
Right. You mentioned Taiwan. We know China's position on that issue, and they've been quite firm in its stance. But can we see Biden make changes with his approach going into this meeting?
That's something that the government here in Taiwan probably should be concerned about. So the Trump administration took a lot of actions to show its support for Taiwan. Biden administration has followed up on some, such as weapon sales, but not with others. For example, there's been no cabinet level visits to Taiwan under the Biden administration, but one did occur towards the end of the Trump administration. So it's possible Biden would say we're keeping consistent with our one China policy. We limit government to government interaction. So we'll keep that with Taiwan at the working level, such as trade negotiations. But I'm not going to send a cabinet secretary to Taiwan or let the Taiwan premier or president come to Washington, D.C. So it's very possible Biden might give something like that to China.
All right, Asia political risk analyst Ross Feingold, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for that.